Visit us at Eduvvo. Thank you for calling Eduvvo.
In the previous video, we learned that CSS is what handles the presentation layer of a web page. Next, we'll talk a little bit about the history of CSS, why it was created, and how it benefits designers and developers. CSS was introduced to the web in 1996 in HTML4 to help solve some problems web developers were having at the time with HTML 3.2, which used many presentational tags and attributes. Because HTML was never intended to be a presentational language for formatting pages, it made it difficult and impractical to create websites where the content of each HTML page was separate from the presentation. Now, by separating the content and structure from the presentation, CSS makes the development and maintenance of websites much more efficient, because the styles we write in a CSS file can be shared across multiple pages. CSS has also improved the accessibility of web content because it allows us to adapt our content to various devices like desktops, phones, tablets, even printers. Currently, CSS 2.1 is the official complete web standard, with parts of the CSS 3 spec implemented as a final standard. If you've been wondering about the differences between CSS and CSS 3, CSS 3 is the latest evolution of CSS, which simply extends CSS 2.1. CSS 3 has introduced new features like rounded corners, box shadows, gradients, transitions and animations, as well as new layouts like multi-columns and flexbox. The W3C's CSS Working Group, which writes and maintains CSS standards, decided to split CSS 3 up into individual feature modules that level up as full standards independently. That way, some features won't slow down other features from being implemented by browsers. Now, this has encouraged browsers to implement new features much faster without having to wait for the entire CSS 3 spec to be considered finished. To follow the development of CSS 3 and view all completed specs, you can visit the W3C at w3.org.